All right, I'm just gonna have to duck a little bit. Okay. I'm trying to get an angle here that features both me and Shay over here. What's up, weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here with Shay Lisi. Barf Party's behind us in its natural habitat, flying high in the lift, clocking some frequent flyer miles, but we're actually going to do our best to finish it. Maybe not in this video, but over the next couple of videos. We got a lot of stuff to do to it. So first off, +2 forks in the front, 14-inch shocks in the rear. We're converting it to dual front disc, and we're putting the fairing on it. So a whole lot of people who saw me reveal this crusty, flamed, actually also from 1986 FXR fairing said, when are you putting that thing on? I get questions about it all the time. When are you putting this thing on? Well, I wanted to get all the parts for it, so I wanted to upgrade the front suspension and upgrade the front brakes anyway. I'm not gonna pull that stuff apart after I've already got the fairing on, and I wanna do it all at once. And why has it taken me this long? Because stuff costs money. I mean, I buy this stuff. I bought all these things, so it takes me time to get everything, but we got it now. Let's get to work. So the first thing we're gonna do is take apart the front forks. Something Shay hasn't done yet. You took the rear tire off a motorcycle. She hasn't taken the front tire off a motorcycle yet.
You know, I want to say we actually did on my Suzuki.
Yeah, your GZ250.
My GZ250.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, we did take the front tire off of that, but I was 18, so.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Let's get to work. Let's freaking take this thing apart. Kind of a bummer because I already rebuilt these forks once. When you take them apart, you got to put all new stuff in it, so I've got it. Let's get to work. As you can see here, Chantel's being Van White right now. The first things first, let's remove the fender because we've got a front project coming up later with that fender that you guys are going to see. One of the things you can do is if you want to make yourself do things sort of the right way, is show someone else how to do it because it forces you to show them and makes you realize that you usually do it the wrong way. So having your tools ready before you start wrenching is always important. Is that the correct fit? All right, we're righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So you can hold it with that one, and it's probably easier to do it with the ratchet. So imagine which way this bolt has to rotate. It would be the other way.
This way?
There you go. What you want to do, same as always, is break them all loose. Feel like it's going?
Nope.
Okay, it's okay. I mean, brake stuff is notoriously needs a little bit of persuasion sometimes. So that's okay.
Now we're cooking. Probably should put it, you know, on the end of a ratchet, but you know.
Yeah, it helps, you know.
I was just checking to see if it fit. Okay.
It's okay. I mean, we're like, at a certain point, you run into like, we can pull out a breaker bar, but at the end of the day, we're not trying to prove a point here. And more than anything, this isn't really so much to teach you like, this is how this comes apart. I don't expect you to remember this.
I want YouTube to think I'm strong and smart.
This is more along the lines of getting comfortable with using wrenches and nuts and Allen keys and everything like that. Because the repetition of all this makes you comfortable using it later.
My pull-out game's not very strong.
There you go. Yeah, jostle the wheel around a little bit. You might have to lift it up because now we're at an angle. This is also just really hard for you because you're short. Boom, you got it. I didn't want to do it for you. So you should be able to roll it right towards you and it'll come right off. And we'll set that to the side. Okay, making my first trip up to cycle gear because I already ran into the fact I don't have an extended 6mm Allen socket to put on those bottom ones, so let's go buy one. Okay, Shay, I'm real glad that you drove your car because the vehicle that I rode here is currently missing a front wheel because of you. So you're gonna have to take me to the store. I need a part. We didn't make it far until we had to make our first run to Harbor Freight down the street. Back in the shop, I've got the part I need. Before we pull the bolts out of the bottom of these forks, we need to take the fork caps off. So we're gonna do this one together because I don't have the proper tool for that either. And there's springs underneath them, so when you take them off, they can go shooting across the freaking ring.
Great.
But don't worry, we'll do it together. We'll be fine. I should have the proper tool for this. I don't know. I've got multiple motorcycles with 39mm front ends. I just don't, okay? It's like a really crappy jack-in-the-box.
That can hurt you.
Yeah, that can hurt you. I mean, it shouldn't go flying across the room.
Shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
I don't feel like we have the best luck.
No. I hate this part. I actually do hate this part. I'm not even like hamming it up for the camera. It's just suspenseful. Come on, it's gotta be getting close, man.
It doesn't look like it.
How many more can it be? Come on. It's almost. Bang! Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Oh, there it goes.
Now I hope it flies across the room. My bike had a permanent circle where I burnt my leggings. I wasn't unsure if it was skin. That's the mark.
Look at Carl.
I got a couple that I used like burn cream.
Leggy?
Yeah, I also learned you should probably wear pants and not shorts on a bike. But an 18-year-old Che was like, I'm invincible, it's fine. And then after like 5 exhaust burns, I was like, all right, I've had enough.
You eventually learn your lesson.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm done.
All right, now that we have these caps off, we can go ahead and pull the bolts out of the bottom and drain this fluid, but you just want to have this pressure release before we try to get these bolts out. I've had to drill these things out before, so I'm being careful. You ever walk around like a crazy person looking for a tool that was just in your hand? You go all over the shop and then it's in your pocket? So I wish I could say that was the first time I did that, but definitely isn't. So I've learned my lesson with these things to use a straight-walled long reach socket. So almost everybody has ball ends that are long. Not everybody has a straight wall that is long. And if you use a ball end on these impacts on these, you will immediately strip these out. Ask me how I know. So what we want to do to completely empty it is just go ahead and push it up and down a couple times.
We don't need any comments about that.
Yeah, exactly. I was just showing you how to do it, and I'm going to even put that in the video.
So the comments are probably worse than my DMs, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm going to do this next part so nobody can say anything bad about Shay here. So you're going to grasp this firmly, and I dare you to say something that even mildly excites you with me doing it. Oh, I guess you could just say we would have rather saw her do it. So basically, you can kind of just bang this off. So as I was trying to bang it off, what I forgot is we got to take the snap ring out first. I've only done this twice. Now that the snap ring's out, what I was trying to do before, banging it off of there, now we should be able to actually accomplish that. Once again, firmly grasp the shaft. Okay, so there's always pretty much going to be left in here the cap to the damping rod, so make sure you get that out. That goes on the end of here. And then we don't even need this or this. The only thing we need from here is the internals. Okay, once more with gusto. Bang that one off. Bang it off, if you know what I mean. Except I'm gonna do it, actually tell. Much less trouble. Okay, go ahead and say goodbye to Shay for now. So she's got to do real person stuff, like get ready for her college classes, while I continue to do ridiculous motorcycle stuff for YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and let her go and do that. She's going to give me a ride home, since the vehicle that I rode here is now in a whole bunch of pieces. Follow her on Instagram, Shay Lisi, @ShayLisi, and be nice. Okay, back at the shop. Time to pull this stuff out of here. So basically the only thing, I'm not going to use this spring, I'm not going to use this fork tube. Literally the only thing I need out of here are the dampening rods. So I got to pull these out, and not only do I have to drill these holes and make them bigger, but I have to drill 2 more holes on each one. I'm a little stressed about that, but what's the worst that could happen? I totally ruined them. So that just came out with only loosening the bottom one.
That's always good. These are decorative.
Whoops. Well, let's try this again. It's another day, and once again, I'm on a 2020 Road King with 131-inch V-twin, picking up parts to fix my 1986 FXR. You can just call this Road King the shop truck. You could do worse for, whoa, that rear end breaks right loose on these wet Florida roads. When you're dealing with what is probably like 140 foot-pounds of torque, wet roads make a difference. Okay, going to the worst Home Depot in the world to pick up some actual drill bits that are meant for metal. I have to drill some holes in the damping rods and also enlarge the holes that are already there in order for this Race Tech front suspension to work. I want to make sure that I have drill bits that aren't gonna freaking leave horrible burrs all over those things, because something tells me they should probably be smooth. Something also tells me I should hurry up, because that looks like Mordor on the horizon over there. Man, this freaking Road King makes a cool sound. I don't care who you are. I actually like this exhaust. I like those slip-ons better than like just some crazy honking loud ass exhaust. I think that muted, powerful, deep sound sounds a lot better. Oh man, I really like this motorcycle. Well, that was new. I spent actual money on drill bits for once. After my last escapade with that brake rotor, I figured I better actually buy some drill bits that meant business. You know, staying calm in stressful situations is something that I really pride myself on. I don't know what it is about Home Depot, just 15 seconds inside Home Depot and I'm ready to snap on anybody. I can't stand being inside that store. Luckily for me, getting on a motorcycle pretty much puts me right back where I want to be mood-wise. Back in the garage with Krusty here. When I last left this several days ago, I left in kind of a hurry. Basically, I've got some stripped out Allens on the other side here, so I'm going to do my best to get them out. Don't know if it's going to happen or not, but at least I've got some fancy new drill bits if I can't get them out. Oh yeah, and we got Flip over here. You got your left-handers, right? All right. Oh my gosh, Flip, you were useful once. Somebody mark it on the calendar. We'll celebrate it every year. Flip was useful.
Put that in the calendar.
August 30th, Flip was useful day.
Put it in the calendar.
Nice. Look at you go, Flip. Okie dokie, I don't have a lot of confidence in myself here, but there's only one way to find out. We're about to make these holes bigger. We're drilling them out to 5/16, and we need to make 2 more holes, also at 5/16. So let's give her a whirl. Now to take some measurements. It says that the new hole has to be about 10 millimeters up from the old hole. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's see if I can do that again without messing up. The next step in this is to just take a flat file and just deburr these new holes and clean up the widening of the old holes that you made. And then I'm also just going to take this file and put just a slight chamfer on the edges of these holes. All this seems like harder than you would think. Like, it seems kind of scary to be drilling on internal parts of your suspension, but I promise you, this is actually really easy. I don't even know what I'm doing, and I'm able to do this. So it stands to reason that you would be just fine. And yes, I'm using a drill press on this, but I think that you could get away without using a drill press. If you just had a vise and a hand drill, I really honestly think you'd be just fine. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what you actually get inside the Race Tech upgrade. So obviously you get the springs. The real cool part is you get this. Now these are the gold valves, or I'm not sure if they're gold valves. These are the valves. They come with 3 different weight springs. They have the middle weight installed, which is the blue spring, but I'm gonna go ahead and install the yellow weight, which is the heaviest spring, just because I'm a big guy. One of the whole reasons that I'm doing this upgrade is because I weigh a lot and the stock suspension just isn't enough for me. So I'm gonna go for the heaviest weight, which is something you might use if you were gonna take like your Sportster off-road, but I figure it ought to be good enough for me on-road. So the Race Tech website with the instructions on how to do all this stuff, by the way, it is all online, recommends for the 64-pound spring that you do 2 turns of preload on this. So that's what I'm gonna do. Basically, that's the way it's set up for an FLH. So if I was doing this on a bigger touring bike, that's how I would set it up. But I think with the weight of me and the weight of this FXR, I'm doing it the right way. This is gonna be better for me than the blue spring. Okay, I'm gonna be careful because I don't know how many pieces are actually in here. I've never done this before. It said 2 turns. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Let me go look at the instructions again. Okay, I checked the instructions and it says you're measuring preload from when it just touches. So you go from loose like it is right now to it just touching. And I'm gonna go ahead and go in 2 full turns. 2.5. We'll be safe, we'll do 2.5. All right, let's start putting the forks back together. For some reason, it came with these 4 springs. I don't know what they're for, and the instructions don't say anything about them. So that's pretty confusing. They look like they might have been replacements for these old bottom out springs, but I just don't know, and it doesn't say what they are, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put these old ones in and not use these and hope for the best. Since I just redid this suspension not too long ago, I mean literally less than a few thousand miles ago, I'm going to go ahead and reuse these bushings, but I am going to put new seals on the new fork tubes. And these are the 2 over tubes that I'm installing for that monster truck look. Next, I'm going to go ahead and drop my damping tube down in here. Now before I put my slider on, I'm going to go ahead and put a little dab of grease on the end of that. I didn't think that up, but pretty much every video you watch on how to rebuild forks recommends this so it doesn't fall off. Not much, but just a little dab here on the end so it sticks. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the slider. Now that I have the slider in, I can go ahead and drive that bushing in with this piece of PVC. Sounds like it's into me. Okay, next up, I'm going to go ahead and drive this seal in. And after that comes the wiper. You don't have to hammer that one in, that one just kind of presses right into the top there. After that, it tells you to drop this gold valve emulator right in there. I really don't want to drop it. I mean, it just seems like a bad idea, so I'm going to gently lower it in there with a parts grabber. I mean, yeah, sure, it's gonna get banged around, but I don't know, it just feels kind of weird to just like drop it in there and bang it around, so I'm going to gently set it on top of the damper with that. And of course the Race Tech spring. And now we need to measure a spacer for preload. So in order to get this measurement proper, we need to be 1.6 inches from here to this rubber gasket, or actually to the sealing lip it says, so right to the lip right there. That's always a bummer when you're cutting something and there's no sparks. Okay, I figured the best way to get this cap on here and pour oil in it was just to go ahead and stick it back in the forks. They hold it well enough after all. So I'm gonna go ahead and put about 10 ounces of oil in this guy and reinstall the cap with the spacer. Come on. Come on. Okay, in a little bit of a bind. One is because I cannot get this cap on. As hard as I try, I can't get it on. And the problem is that there's actually a tool for this, a tool I don't have, but I have been able to get these on in the past with just my bare hands. But this has got heavier duty springs, it's got a higher preload, and I just can't do it. I had to admit defeat. So I gotta wait till tomorrow and grab the right tool to do this from the Ride Factory. I need more PVC for the other side. So essentially, this is the end of me working on the FXR for this video. I'm gonna have to say goodbye to the FXR and pick that up in another video tomorrow. Not only did I not finish the FXR today, but I also failed to get the KTM running. So kind of a bummer way to end this video. Not super happy that I didn't accomplish anything else trying to do, but you can't win them all. And when you're shade tree surgeon, you can't win very many at all. But we're gonna keep on trucking. I'm gonna try to get some stuff tomorrow and get these things going. Talk to Yamagang. He's gonna come help me with the KTM and figure out what's wrong with it. I think that's gonna call it a wrap for this one, but I do have something cool to leave it off on. Shay painted the front fender of the FXR for me. I gave it to her and I said, you know what? You paint whatever you want on that fender. Paint something you love on it, because I want the fender back with something that you like on there. So she did, and I have a time lapse of that. So I'm gonna play that before the end screen. Till next time, y'all, keep it weird.